Hey, ADNC fam, Emma Ansah here. It is Monday and we are live, and I'm here with a special guest. Dean Martin is joining me today as we talk about anti Black racism in the Canadian real estate market. And we're going to look at an asset that I came across on TikTok with a real estate agent. Her name is Jackie. And she is talking about experiencing anti Black racism as a real estate agent, showing units to a Black potential tenant. And it got me thinking about it. And we're also going to talk about just in general what we as Black people need to do, because we know anti Black racism exists. We know we're not going to be able to get around that. We know it exists. But what can we do and how can we arm ourselves financially? So I asked Dean to join me, and Dean and I, full transparency, we've known each other for how long, Dean? How long has it
Oh,
been?
like 25, 30 years. It's a
At
long
least.
time. Yes.
At least. And
Very
we're
long
both
time.
in the finance
hmm
market. We're both in the
hmm
finance area. But I wanted Dean to come on because Dean is a financial, I call him a financial guru. Okay. And he's going to also talk about financial literacy and the 5 steps to wealth building. So I feel like this is a really important topic for our community. Wouldn't you agree, Dean? I mean, we as a
100%.
community, there's so much we need to learn.
100%.
So before we get started, Dean, just tell everybody a little bit more about yourself.
So thank you again, Emma, for having me. I appreciate the call out. Sorry, guys, I'm a little bit stuffed up. I got hit with that flu that's going
That
around, and
nasty flu.
it knocked me out, man. But you know what? I was able to still come on, to be her guest, and I'm very appreciative of that. I actually worked for CRA, so Canada Revenue Agency. I worked for them for 27 years.
And
So it's
that's
a
the
lot.
equivalent of the IRS in the
That's
United
right.
States.
Exactly. So I worked for them for a long time. And, I decided to venture out on my own because I was just tired of working for someone. And I came into the financial services industry, and I just love it. Why? Because I believe that we need to understand the rules to the game of money. Many of us do not. And if we don't know the rules to the game of money, unfortunately, we are not going to win. And that's why you see a lot of things happening in our communities because we don't know things, right? And so, my goal and my passion is to make sure that I educate as many people as I can about money, because money is very important to understand how it works, how it make it work for you, because that's what it comes down to. And so that's what I've been doing now for the last 11. I did it part time for a good amount of years until COVID, and then I came over full time here. So I enjoy every moment of it. I am married. I have 2 boys. And I'm just here as a immigrant from Jamaica. Jamaica. Hopefully, some Jamaican on the line. All right. Yes.
Yaman.
Yum, as they say. So yes, I'm here from Jamaica. I've been in Canada a very long time, though. So, but I'm here to, help as many people, my community and any other communities, to realize how to make it work, how financial literacy works in Canada. Because if you don't understand that, you're not going to get ahead, right? And I say it like this: if you play a game of basketball and you don't know the rules to the game, how do you play to
What
win?
happens? Exactly.
If you don't know what
Exactly.
traveling is, if you don't know what a foul is, if you don't know if those things are part of the rules, how do you play to win? So money is no different.
Exactly.
No different.
Exactly.
You still got to know those rules. So
You
yeah.
absolutely do. And I see Kellen. Hey, Kellen, thanks for joining. I see people saying B1, Black First. Amen to that. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Jean, Monica Williams. Buckhorse, how you doing, Buckhorse? Thanks for joining. Militia says, real talk. I'm here for the education. Amen to that. So before we get into the education, we're first going to look at this sister. Her name, like I said, is Jackie. She's a real estate agent. And she's also saying a lot of the same things we're saying. So let's just take a look at what she's talking about, her experience with trying to get a rental for a Black person.
Single Black male clients. I have to explain to them, I'm like, bro, we got to come correct. The best paperwork, the best photos, because there's actual racism in the rental market right now. Let me tell you a little story. I had this client, African dude, and he wanted to get a basement apartment. So we went to this place, I believe it was on Mavis and Dairy, probably like off of 20th Avenue, whatever. Anywho, y'all, when I tell you we didn't even get into the house, let me tell you, these South Asians came to the door. The place was on the market. We booked the appointment. It was direct entry. Okay? Ring, ring. I'm knocking. This older South Asian woman came to the door. I like put my card in the window. I'm like, hi, just here for the showing, whatnot. My girl just looked at us. Didn't let us in. I'm like, knock, like she's looking. She's looking at it. Didn't let us in. I'm like, knock, knock, knock. I'm calling the agent. I'm like, I'm calling your agent. And I'm like, whatever his name is, South Asian as well. I'm like, dude, I'm at the house. I've booked the appointment. I'm here. Me and my client are here. He's busted to see one of like 5 properties. This person's literally looking me in my face and not letting us in. Why not? Oh, she may not know. I'm like, don't bullshit. Don't bullshit. If you know, you know. If you know that look in people's eyes when they're just like held to the no, and it's not because you don't look good, it's not because X, Y, and Z, and it's simply because of, if you know, you know. I just said, you know what? I said, you and your clients should be ashamed of themselves. I just told this straight to the agent. I said, you and your clients should be ashamed of yourself, and you need to educate them on proper behavior, because this is not right. This is not right. Thank you very much. And I just hung up. I was over it. I said, bro, hop in my car. I'm going to take you to the next one. It was cold. I was like, bro, I am so sorry for this. My dog has been in Canada for less than a year and had to deal with that mess. So this is why I preach to you guys, especially the millennial generation and especially people of color. Read the room. What do the majority of landlords look like? Let's change the narrative. Don't want to beg people them to rent out their spot. Don't want to beg the people them for rent out their spot. Buy on your things, okay? Buy your things. Get together as crew. The way y'all get together and then bam, party, bam, boots, bam, outfit, bam, this. Bring the same energy on a joint venture so that you guys don't have to beg people for their things and worry about when you submit a rental application. I've had one of my boys, amazing credit, big time job, couldn't get a place. Couldn't get a place in the same condo that he's already lived in. Man lived upstairs, couldn't even get a spot. Make this make sense. So this is why I'm going to preach till I don't have a breath in me left to buy property. You work in this country. You pay taxes in this country. You need to own property, especially at our big up age. Okay, I'm 36, like we're almost 40. You shouldn't have to beg people to live in a damn home.
That's it.
Wow.
We shouldn't have to beg. So that's the main thing. Now, I will say this because there are different scenarios. We definitely know that anti-Black racism exists. It exists pretty much in every major institution, every facet. It is baked in this country for sure, 100%. As it relates to the real estate market, definitely exists. We know that there is a definite and glaring difference in the way that Black people are treated when they're looking to either buy or rent. It definitely exists. But we have to balance it out. We also have to look at what we as a community need to also do better, right? And how we have to reprioritize how we spend and debt management and all of those things, right? So, Dean, what have you got to say about what Sister Jackie had to say?
I mean, it's an unfortunate situation that somebody has to, endure because of the color of your skin. It is to me, it's just abhorrent for people to look at you and because you're a different color to treat you differently,
Yeah.
right? It's funny because when you cut me or cut someone else, we bleed the
Same
same
color.
color. There's no difference. But the prejudices that people have over the years that it has been built and developed because of what was ingrained in them by forefather, grandparents, right? That's what has come to now. But I will say this: we, as Black people, we also need to take accountability. We have to balance it out because we see that there's a lot of things going on in our communities, a lot of gang violence, a lot of shootings, a lot of things going on. And who's committing these crimes? Unfortunately, most of the times you see them, it's Black people. I'm just going to keep it real. I might get some hate for this, but I'm just saying. So we also have to understand that we're at a disadvantage. So when I talk to my son, I tell my son, you're at a disadvantage. You need to do better than everybody else. Don't follow your friends that are not the same color because they would get away with something and not you. So we have to instill in our children the things that they need to understand through our experiences, right? And so we also have to understand that let's take a little accountability and let us try to ingrain in our children to do things right
Yeah.
from the get-go, from they're young. Because
Yeah.
yes, racism exists. It exists for how many years?
Not going anywhere.
We're not gonna get away from it.
No.
But why add to it?
Mm-hmm.
Why add to it? As
Why feed
immigrants,
that
yes,
engine?
yeah,
Right? Yeah.
yeah.
I
When
agree.
you come here from a Jamaica or Trinidad or wherever Caribbean or Nigeria or you know what I mean, all of these different countries that come here or the U.S., we've got to do better than everybody else. We got to do things 100% like double what other people have to do. We have to do it. So we got to be mindful of these things and make sure we don't do things that would help us not to be able to get something or be a part of something because people are looking at us, oh boy, here comes the Black person. Oh yeah, the usual suspects. I read a lot of that online when something happened. Oh, yeah, the usual suspects. So again, we just got to be mindful of what we teach our children going forward. And those millenniums, we got to instill in them, man. Guys, we got to do better sometimes. We do. So
Yeah, and
unfortunately.
I agree with that. I definitely, we as a community definitely needs to do better, especially with teaching our youth and what have you. But then we also have to look at the fact that there are Black people who check all the boxes off
Mhm.
and still go through it. And
Yeah.
sometimes what happens is that creates a level of just distrust, disdain. They're going to say no anyway, so I may as well just go down this path, and it's the wrong path. So it's a matter of really equipping our youth to really this could happen, this can happen, this can happen, but you need to be prepared in every way, like for every single scenario that you're going to face in life. And so that's important as well.
Yeah, I'll make
um
a point. Sorry. As the young lady said, instead of partying all the time, instead of spending money on clothes and looking good because you want to, you're in competition with your friend, them, oh, who can buy the latest, this and that. You understand what I'm saying? We've got to be more financially minded like that. We've
yeah,
got to say, okay, why don't we get a group of our people
yeah,
together? Let's build a
totally,
team around us.
totally.
6 people, pool your resources together so that you can buy the house. You can be the landlord. Because you know what? Unfortunately, that's what the Asians do. That's how the Asians do. Believe it or not. They'll have
I
six
mean,
people, 7, 8 people in
10.
10 in a house.
I
But you
mean,
see,
yes, we live in Ontario. Dean and I
mhm,
live in Ontario, and I
mhm.
see that there's some people in the chat that also are from Ontario, and
Mhm.
we know everywhere you go now,
Oh,
everywhere you'll see a pizza place
oh my
called Vincent's Pizzeria, and it's run and owned now by South Asian.
yeah,
They're everywhere.
everywhere.
They understand the assignment. And I'm
Hmm.
talking about the
Hmm.
ones who are the worker bees. I'm not
Yes,
talking because we know there's some doing some mess.
mess.
But I mean, the ones who are really in that grind, and what they do is they take their people along, and
Hmm.
they'll only hire their people.
Hmm.
You know, you'll see the ad that says you must speak Punjabi before you can even get the job. So we as Black people, we need to get to that. We need to have that kind of
Yes,
mentality as
yes,
well.
yes.
I also want to play some of the situations that have happened with Black people in the real estate market, along with some statistics of what they go through. And then I'm going to give it to Dean to just really talk about financial literacy. And we'll also read, I see the chat is alive. People are really sharing their thoughts. So we'll definitely go to the chat as well. But let us just look at this, because we are big believers in let's balance it out. So let's watch this.
And I had my baby. Like that to me was the
Actually,
hardest part,
let
and
me
it's
just
still the hardest
rewind
part.
it before because I don't want us to miss any part of this. All right.
Reality in the rental market.
My clients are in good standing. They've got great jobs. Their credit rating is very, very good. And once they get that photo ID on the other side.
If their client is a person of color, that's when they say some landlords change their tone.
Yeah, we're going to hold off and wait until we can find someone more suitable, which I'm not quite sure what that means.
In the first ever report of its kind, the Ontario Real Estate Association found 93% of Black realtors and 60% of all consumers believe discrimination exists when trying to rent a place to live. 43% of realtors also say they've seen a rental deal fall through due to discrimination.
When there's Facebook groups called Renting While Black, for example, it's a real problem. It's a serious problem. You have a very hard time getting a person to say yes to you.
However, the report is being met with some pushback.
When AREA actually went out with the survey, they actually got quite a few angry emails from some realtors. If the people that you're trying to pull are now yelling at you because they don't think there's a problem with racism, and there is.
19 recommendations have been put forward to eliminate inequality in real estate, including a review of the Ontario Residential Tenancies Act, building 99,000 community housing units over the next decade, and creating rent-to-own programs for disadvantaged communities.
Renting is really the first step on that property ladder. And if you can't even get a foothold on the first step, that's a huge problem.
A problem they hope to solve by making real estate more diverse and inclusive.
Racism has never ended, man. Never. If anybody has ever told you that, all that stuff was in the past and people are not racist or blah, 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 show them this video. So I called this lady inquiring about this unit because I'm thinking about moving out. Right when she asked me, when do you want to move in? I said, May 1st. Beep, beep. Hung up. I really thought she was playing with me. So I text her and say, sorry, did the line cut or did you just hang up? She says, sorry, I didn't realize that you're a Black guy. I really thought she was playing with me, so I said, excuse me, what? No Black people allowed? Question mark, question mark. She actually said no. It's rightfully so. I'm going to mention right now that this lady was South Asian. So, I just said, you hung up on me because I'm Black? And she said, yes, I don't like Blacks. I don't know. If that's not racist, tell me what is. But yeah, man, this is clearly how difficult it is to even find or rent a space here in Toronto.
What happened to me, to be honest with you, I was so shocked.
Searching for a place to live with her family was already a burden amid a global pandemic, but made even worse after Roxanne Lemonius says she believes she was refused housing because of the color of her skin.
I've lived here in Canada since I was 4. And you grew up in this is the most multicultural place ever, right? And to see it happen so blatant, and I had my baby, that to me was the hardest part, and it's still the hardest part.
So those were some examples and some statistics, as we can see. over 90% of real estate agents have said that they have experienced anti-Black racism. You've got owners, people who are potential or want to be potential homeowners that go to look for a home and mortgage, and all of a sudden the mortgage rates are higher than it would have been. I can share my experience as well as being a renter, going to look at a rental property and using a real estate agent. And so the whole time I was dealing with the real estate agent. So I never met the owner of the house that I wanted to rent until I went to pick up the keys. So when I went to pick up the keys, I met the owner there at the home, and he is a South Asian. And he handed me a set of keys, and I went into the place. I was like, okay, we're good. And then I had my move-in date 2 days later. Are you ready for this, family? You ready for this, Dean?
Yeah.
I show up with my moving truck and all my stuff. I get to the house and I go to open the key now. He changed the locks.
What?
He changed the locks 2 days before I was supposed to move in. Okay. He saw my Black face because I check all those boxes. I checked all those boxes.
Wow.
He saw my Black face. He changed the locks 2 days before. And then of course, there I was with the moving truck, had to get it put in storage. And then I was staying with a friend of mine while I looked for another place. And then I got a lawyer. And when my lawyer contacted him and the real estate agent and stuff, he said, I just didn't like her vibe. That was his. And it's more like, you didn't like my color. Okay.
Wow.
You didn't like the vibe, the hue of my skin. So, that's just my personal story. We go through this, right? We go through this. We know the statistics are there. But we also have to now, as Black people, now that we know this, it's more about what do we do?
Yes.
What do we do now? So now here comes the educational piece. And I see that Buckhorse is saying that I thought Black folks fled to Canada to avoid slavery. I had no idea. Man, Buckhorse, he said until Miss Emma started talking about it. Yes, my friend. Yes, yes.
Wow.
So, the question begs. So now we know this. So Dean, you want to talk about financial literacy. You want to give 5 steps. I give it off to you to educate us. And then we'll go to the chat and if anybody has any questions and any comments, we'll engage with you guys as well.
Sure. When it comes to financial literacy, I think it is important for people to know. There's so many people right now that I meet, clients that I meet, like they still have no clue about anything. And it just puzzles me, because at the end of the day, if you don't know what a TFSA is, what an account RRSP is, like, that to me is a problem, because these are simple accounts that people should at least have some type of knowledge about. Okay. So when it comes to financial literacy, for me, breaks down to 5 steps. Okay. And here's the 5 steps. The first thing I teach people is this: you got to obviously earn income to build wealth. All right. This is 5 steps to building wealth. You got to first actually earn income.
Yes.
Now, income is broken down into 2. The first part of the income is what we called, working income, limited income. You work a 9 to 5, that's working income. But unfortunately, with working income, I did that for 27 years. It was very limited.
Yes.
I could only work so many hours a day because there's only 24 hours in the day. Not only that, your employer only will want you to work a certain amount of hours. That's it.
Yeah.
You can work more than that. Sometimes they ain't gonna pay you. That's your problem, right? Unless they pay overtime. So again, we have to understand this. That's working income. Now, the second type of income is what we called passive income. That's where you sleep and make money. That's what most people are looking for.
Oh,
but a lot of people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand how to achieve passive income. I will say this: And I'll just throw this out there for now and pique your interest. To earn passive income, gotta have two things: other people's time, other people's money. I'll leave it at that. I can go into it another time further. Okay. Those are the two types of income. And unfortunately, the problem why people never reach the goals and dreams that they intended to is because they only have one type of income. That's
Which
all
is
they
working
depend.
income.
That's it. And it's so simple, Emma, to actually build passive income. You wouldn't believe. Okay. Now that's the first step. The next step in the building wealth stage is you earn it. That the income is first, but now you got to do what? You got to save. You can't spend all the money you earn. I mean, that just does not make sense. You're just going to keep doing the same thing every day. So you have to save some of the money you earn, as much of it as you can. Why? You ever heard of rainy day?
Oh, yes.
You ever heard
The
of
rainy day. The
emergencies?
rainy day fund.
You ever heard? Yeah. So we call it, here's what I teach my clients. You got to pay yourself first.
Yes.
You're
That
the
is the
one
best formula.
You're the one that works so hard for the money. You're the one that you have to pay yourself first.
Indeed.
You know, the funny thing that most people don't realize is this: you work a 9 to 5, who gets paid first? Doesn't the government get paid first?
Of course, they take theirs and then you get the rest.
Okay.
And then and depending on how much you earn, what tax bracket you're in, they're taking more from you.
Okay. So the government gets their share first before you even get your share.
Yep.
So when you get your share, you got to pay yourself. Put away 10% of your income, whatever it is. Put it into different things that you need to have. Those are things I can explain another time, but pay yourself first. That's what we say. Pay yourself first. All right. So that's the second step. You got to save. Mm-hmm. But now the third step is not just to save when I say put it under your mattress. You know, because most people believe the banks are where you put your money at. Newsflash, no. The banks are a business looking to improve their bottom line. They're not going to do as much for you as you think they would. Right? And I can go, I teach the banking system. There's a bias in that. I'll do it another time, but there's a bias in the banking system that I teach people. Okay.
100%.
You have to understand the bias in the banking system. Then you can understand. Right? Because when you put your money in the bank, what do you think the bank does with your money? The bank,
go ahead.
Puts it somewhere else.
Yes. And then let's not even talk about the fees. And you think about the amount of institutions just in Canada alone, mm-hmm. and then your monthly fee of $16.95, and you at the end of the day you're thinking, okay, it's $16 or whatever mm-hmm. type of model of banking you have, mm-hmm. and you have hundreds of thousands of clients, and they're getting dinged every month. And that's just one component that I'm talking about, but carry on. Portia said this is such a good live. Rainy day is a lifesaver. Yeah, right. Amen to that. Right. I'm sorry, Dean. Carry on.
No problem. But I'm just saying the bank is not your best friend. So I just want you to remember that. That's why you need someone like myself to be able to give you the education on the different places you can actually invest your money. And I'm not talking invest your money where you can lose your money. No, your money has to grow. That's the third step. So income, you have to earn it. You got to save it, but it has to grow.
Yeah.
If your money is not growing above the cost of inflation, I want you to hear me. You're losing. Think about it. If I put away 10 grand and I'm not earning enough on that 10 grand above inflation, what do you think is happening to my 10 grand? It's actually losing value.
Dipping. Yeah.
Yes. So we have to understand how to allow our money to grow. And there's different avenues.
So many.
And ways you can grow your money that are safe. So I want to actually, let people understand there's safe ways There's
Yes.
different ways you can interest, fixed interest, variable, and all of these different things that people need to understand. So you got to now have the money grow. You know, compound interest. I want to interject this. Albert Einstein said it the best. He said that compound interest is the greatest mathematical concept of all time. He says it's the eighth wonder of the world.
Of the world, yep.
He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't ends up paying it. The lesson he's teaching us is your money can work for you or your money can work against you. So this is why you need to understand how money can work for you and how it works against you so you can avoid that. So again, that's why compounding is the best thing you can ever have when it comes to your money. So that's the third step in building wealth. The fourth step is you now got to protect what you've grown, right? And people might say, protect it from what? Well, there are different things that you need to protect your money from. You know, there's understanding how to protect it from market downturn, understanding how to protect it from inflation.
And scams.
Understanding how to protect it, from taxes. I used to work for the tax demand. So there's ways and strategies that you can implement legally to reduce the taxes you pay to the government. You need to understand that. And then also you got to protect it from loss, meaning, God forbid, I cannot work because of a disability, because of a critical illness, because, God forbid, premature death. How did I protect my money for my family so that the financial impact doesn't devastate the family? These are things that we have to understand as a community to be able to build wealth. And then the last step is, once you protect it, it's how do I transfer it? Transfer it to my next generation, my children.
Generational wealth.
And that's the problem we don't have
in
our
face
community.
so badly in our community. Oh my God.
Don't have generational wealth. We don't pass it on to our children. You know what? I'm going to give you a very funny thing I tell people. If you ever let's go to two funerals. Let's go to a uppity, not our community funeral. You have the lady, the lady
funeral.
Yes, we have the lady with the umbrella.
Yeah,
nice black dress with a little handkerchief, and she's tapping her eyes with it, but she's smiling.
Right.
Because she knows
she's banking.
Gonna get what she's gonna get.
Right.
But then let's go to our funeral. Oh God, the crying and the bawling, and the people who want to throw themselves inside the casket sometimes. It's not because of all grief. It's because of what they know their family has left them, which is zero. And this is things we have to address in our community and understand how to build and protect our community against these things. Listen, it's so interesting. And I used to go out in a party. I met Emma back in the day. We used to go and do a little party, and
let me tell you something. I say it loud. I was a club girl.
Me and you both. I was a club. Oh God, I used to love.
I was in the club Thursday to Sunday,
yes.
And do you know what, Dean and family? I was in the club Thursday to Sunday. My priority on Monday was to go shopping with my paycheck and buy my next outfit for the next week from Thursday to Sunday. The other day, it just came into my mind when I was just thinking about all of this and Black people in our community and what we spend money on and stuff. And I did a calculation because my accounting brain got to working. And I did a calculation on how much money I was spending out my paycheck. And I knew better because my father taught me better. And it was really astonishing.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, wow, if I would put this money away.
Listen, somebody in their 20s putting away $100 a month until retirement,
Now,
they'll be a millionaire. I'm telling you, they can retire a millionaire easily. But again, these are things that people are not understanding. So
right.
again, when I used to club and spend and blow all that money, I was thinking to now that I've, I came to, and they say when you were a child, you speak as a child, you understood as a child, but when you became a man, you put away childish things. You have to change and understand that at a certain point in your life, you can't do things the same way. And so we have to teach our children these rules and let them understand this from our experiences. We know children don't like to listen to their parents.
They
right?
don't. They think we're old and dumb.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
We just don't know. We don't
That's
know the
right.
world today.
That's
like we
right.
don't know their world. Yeah.
But they'd rather listen to my child would rather listen to you though than me. So sometimes we need to have somebody else speak to them. But all I'm saying is, think about it this way. And I'm going to just use it as an example. Imagine an insurance policy, somebody getting $1 million. And it could be, now I'm not going to go into the different, not going to go into different types because it's not uncommon. It's very simple. It's not expensive, especially at a young age, but $1 million, and God forbid that person passes away. Do you know what kind of generational wealth you're putting into your family? And now if that
side of that,
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Sorry, I just wanted to interject something.
Sure.
Because when we're talking about the Black funeral, you have people that are literally duking it out at funerals over money. And the money is not even generational wealth. It's not even $1 million. I just wanted to throw that in there because we know that happens. And again, it's due to lack of education, right? And of course, then you've got the clout chasers and the people that are just there for the money and put on a good show. I just want to throw that in the mix.
So imagine $1 million being a check being handed to your family because of you. People don't understand how powerful that is. What type of generational wealth you are leaving. You ask yourself this question. Do you even know your grandparents, their great-grandparents, their great-grandparents? Most of us don't. You know why? They never left us nothing. They never left us nothing. I want to change that narrative where I can say, oh my God, my child can say, or my grandchildren can say, it was because of Dean Martin why we have this lifestyle that we have now. So again, there's ways to be able to do this, and it's just having that literacy and understanding that. So those are the 5 steps. And that's it. That's it. So there's so much to share, but I'll leave it at that with you now.
Well, I just want to say on the heels of what you just said, which is using the scenario of somebody passed away and left their family with $1 million. Just to tag into that, okay, we're handing, I don't know, our young kids $1 million. We have to also make sure they're equipped now to know how to invest and spend and all of those things, that $1 million. So again, that's the generational wealth, and that's the financial literacy and what have you. I have a question for you though, because this is another thing that I've noticed in the Black community, which is there just seems to be a level of distrust for Black people in the financial field like yourself, Black bankers, Black investors or Black traders. And I wanted to ask your opinion because I'm pretty sure you've gone through that. Yes. And what are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that is because the distrust comes from people who didn't have the best interest of the client in mind. You see, when somebody is in it just to make a buck, their only reason to sit with somebody is only to make a buck. That's where the problem is. When your interest in sitting with someone is to make sure you put them in a better financial position. So what I tell people I do is I help people build prosperity so they can live their best life. My ambition with sitting with you is to do the best I can for you based on what you need, not based on what I want in my pocket. And I think that's what happened over the years, that you have people that were just had no integrity. They just wanted to make a buck. They would do anything to make a buck. And that's now they gave the wrong things to people, whether it was investments, whether it was insurance. And that's what happened down the line is that older people, I've sat with clients that have asked me that. They've said that. And I understand why. Because now when you think you have a policy and you don't have one, it's like, what? So what when I tell, I'm a broker, so I have agents that I train and I mentor as well to become brokers, right? That's another thing that I want to talk about is having our own businesses where you work together as a community and everyone is successful, is becoming successful.
Yeah.
Because my goal is not just to be a broker. My goal is to have other brokers.
Yeah.
So again, it's to be able to build that community of people to understand that we all work together as a team, each one teach one. You know, the saying that if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go with a team.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And so the mistrust is warranted. It is. But we're trying to make sure we bring the trust back in the community.
And, you know, I did a segment last week on a Black woman here in Ontario that was scammed 1.7 million off of crypto. And she fell for a video. And that's the other thing we have to talk about. Again, it's the importance of educating yourself, because she fell for a deepfake video of Elon Musk talking on Facebook, of all things. And that's the other thing. A lot of people run to social media for education, right? And they're so quick to trust Elon Musk or Mark Carney, which is a deep fake, by the way.
Exactly.
I mean, they're so quick to trust that instead of saying, oh, let me reach out to Dean or Emma or Kellen Coleman, CPR firm. You know, these people who are really, really invested in your well-being. I do my parents' taxes because, like you work for the Canada Revenue Agency, and me being a CPA, nobody's going to dupe me. Okay. And I don't want my parents cheated either.
Yeah.
And they're in their mid 80s or late 80s at this point. So yeah. So we have people like this that fall for these kinds of things because of lack. Now she's ready to lose her home because she fell for this, and she took out a second mortgage. She kept on, and she maxed her credit cards out. She asked for loans from people. And at the end of the day, $1.7 million later, gone. And we know, I explained how crypto works. You know how crypto works. It's gone. Period.
See, this crypto market has come and people just jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah.
Instead of, you know, that's what I call speculative investing. That's high risk investing where you can win or you can lose it all. But if you don't understand the market, you should not be in that market at all. And so an advisor is always a way to go, because, you know, they should be able to. And if you have an advisor that's not teaching you first and foremost, because here's what I tell you, Emma, I don't do any business with anybody until I educate them. If they decide they want to do business with me, that's okay. But I'm going to educate you first.
Yeah.
Tell you what you need to know first. If you decide, hey, I'd like you to help me, great. If not, take the information, make sure you understand it. And if you want to go to someone else, that's fine. But I want you to be educated before, first and foremost. That's just, I don't do business just on the first meet with somebody. No, I don't do it. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, if after you've educated them, because we know there are trust issues, if after you've educated them and you're not dragging a horse to water and making them drink it, you're telling them, here's what I can do for you, here's how you can get there. It's entirely up to them if they want to go listen to what fake Elon Musk has to say. But then you end up in these kinds of situations.
Yes.
So and listen, if you don't want to trust a Black person, that's entirely up to you. But just understand that Black people aren't the only people that run scams around here.
My God,
Okay,
are you kidding me?
and we have to deal with the added baked in systemic racism and discrimination. So, for me personally, I always lead with Black first, but I'm not omit to working with other.
Absolutely not. No.
I'm not. If it doesn't work for me, it doesn't work for me.
Exactly.
I'm just, it's important that you educate yourself. So if I see Elon Musk talking to me is not gospel. I'm going to go and do the work. And even if I didn't have a CPA and you weren't a broker and you still want to exercise wisdom and common sense.
Of course.
Okay? So that's what I want to say. That's my 2 cents in closing. I'm going to go to the chat though, because I tell you the chat is alive, Dean. The chat is alive. So let us see what people are saying here. Malicious says that's a fact. Unfortunately, unity and solidarity seems to be poison for some of our ears. Yeah, that is true. Somebody said, no, brother, not anymore to the level it once was. It's South Asians. Yeah, we were talking about that, how the South Asians are just like, but they make a lot of sacrifices so that they can get there. And then once they get there, they'll just bring their people,
everybody over. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, I said this, like living in Canada, you living in Canada, I've not seen it at the level that it is now.
No. Oh my gosh.
The South Asian community and the anti-Black racism by them too. I mean, like we don't have to deal with it.
But you're brown too. So what makes
Where are we going
better than me? I don't understand.
And I will admit, I have met some very lovely ones. I'm not saying they're all like this.
My neighbor is amazing. They're great people.
The security guards in my condo complex, they're very lovely. And even some businesses that I go to and stuff. I'm just saying that there are some, and we can't deny it. And we just saw 2 examples that would not rent to you. I went through it, and it's sad, but it's super important that we make sure. And some people in the chat are saying they just are oppress us. And there's, that's the bottom line is we are oppressed by these people, no matter what we do. So the feeling is we can have the best credit and everything else and still go through it. So what does that mean for us as a people, right? It means we got to start owning stuff. It means we got to start building our community. It means we need to have that Tulsa mentality.
Yes.
The Africville mentality. Africville, Nova Scotia, they were left with nothing, but they still, you know what they did? You bring those scraps to the dump, what they called the dump was where Africville was. We're taking those scraps and we're building a school. We built a church. We built houses. We colored them. We painted them. And it was a nice little close-knit community. And just like Tulsa, they weren't happy with that. They wanted to break Black people. But we as Black people need to understand how resourceful we are, how intelligent we are, how powerful we are, how strong we are, how capable we are, and stop, adopting this slave mentality that we tend to have. Get that entrepreneur mentality going.
Right.
And trust people who know about it.
That's right.
Who we can be. Why do you think, let me just ask the family real quick. Why do you think the folks, and Dean, you know this, are marching around here in Canada saying they want to take back Canada and saying that they want to do an ethnic cleansing and all the other stuff? Because they see the power, not just by Black people, but by the South Asian community. They see how they're building and just taking up businesses that were even owned by them.
They're the minorities now. They're becoming the minorities, and that's the problem.
That's it. And why do you think that is? It's because of our power. So we just need to get that in our head. That's what we need to do.
Man,
so
if we
instead of
understand,
asking to let me rent your home, go buy your own.
Buy.
Invite me to this boardroom, go build your own boardroom. Invite me to this building. No, we don't want Black people. Go buy back that building later, like the South Asian community is doing, and some Black people are doing too. We are starting to get to this point.
Yeah.
We just really need to step up. That's what I have to say. That's my 2 cents.
It's the village mentality we need.
Yep.
And if we have that village mentality,
exactly. The
we'll be
village
good.
mentality, that Tulsa, that Africville, all of that. Let's see. Somebody here saying that's no surprise here, the racism. No, no surprise indeed. It's not surprising by any means. But we are now of the mindset of, okay, we know it's here. We know it's not going anywhere. But now what do we as a Black people do? That's really what this is about. It's not a pity party. It's not a woe is me. It's just we're showing examples because a lot of people love to say, oh, it doesn't exist. Their racism doesn't exist anymore. We're like this sister said, we're multicultural. So I was so surprised. Stop being surprised. Stop being surprised. That's the first thing. Really? Because it ain't going nowhere. It's not going anywhere. Stop being surprised. And let's get to how we going to get to the point where we need to be. So that's my 2 cents. Somebody said, I thought that Black votes. Oh, that's the fled to Canada one. Let's scroll down and see what else is being said here. Buckhorse said he didn't know. We need our own businesses and build our investments so we can easily own our house. Take that step and stick to it. Make it work. Yes, Abijah, I'm with you. Amen. People are saying true. Buckhorse said he knows the game. Thank you, Buckhorse. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Portia said this is such a great live, very educational. Buckhorse says that it's really interesting. He's learning something here. Kayla Yvonne says this is very important. Clapping emojis. Generational wealth is a must. That's how white folks stayed ahead. Facts. Fireball emojis. And then Roland Thunder says, but Black people keep voting liberal. I didn't. I did not vote liberal. I do know that there are some, though. There are some.
They're still writing on what's his name from way back that brought the Black people into Canada.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh. They're still on liberal because of that. No.
And Buckhorse says, say it loud. I'm Black and I'm proud. Yeah. And I did have to ban somebody who was saying that Black people, some or the other, I'm not even going to repeat it because I refuse to give it life, but it's one of the folks that obviously got lost on the African Diaspora News channel and stumbled across it and, is just not in the right place. So, we need to just exit stage left. We're not taking that in here on this channel here. One
thing I'll say is let us be mindful, young people, of building your credit.
Yes.
Because that's where everything
is important.
That's where it starts. You got to be mindful of how to do that.
Yeah.
Because the problem is, this happened to me when I was younger, and I got the phone.
Too.
I got my own cell phone, and then the bill ran out. Then I ran to a different provider, and then that went on my credit. But you see, I wasn't educated to understand that that's going to come back and haunt me. So we've got to teach our children what credit is, how credit works, and how to build it properly.
Yeah.
Because that's going to help us when it comes to buying a house. That's going to help us. Everything let's just be frank, everything requires credit.
It does. Because guess what? The CRA and the government and what have you, they don't care about your plight. So it doesn't matter that you were 18 years old and dumb and didn't, had no education. No, so you ran, you've got a whole bunch of things on your credit report. That doesn't matter to them. You are a number. And all they're looking at is that. So, you can have a million tales of woe. It doesn't matter.
So 2 simple things to keep your credit in check. Pay your bills on time. Please, even if it's the
minimum. Yeah.
Pay your bills on time.
Yeah.
Don't say I'm going to wait and then pay your bills on time. And then keep your credit at less than 30% of your total don't spend more than that, because
And
it's called utilization. And the more you
exactly.
utilize it, they look at you as that's all you use is credit to live. And so there's things like those as well that I can get into so much, but I'll leave it at that. But you need to build good credit. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and I can use myself as a story too, because my father's an accountant, and that's
Mhm,
how I got that bug.
mhm.
And when we were younger, and when we first started working, he would take a portion of our paycheck and he took us to the bank. And that's back in the days, I'm about to date myself, of the bank book. Remember the days of the bank book when you would go to the bank and they would
Yeah, yeah,
stamp your
yeah.
bank, right? And they would print and say how much.
Mhm.
So he would take us to the bank and he would take half of the paycheck. He opened the account for us with us. And then every time I got paid, I gave him a portion of my pay and he would put it in the bank. But what he was secretly doing was matching it. So if I had $100 paycheck, I would be so happy with my $100. And then he would take 60 of it and give me 40. Because I lived at home. Where am I
Yeah,
going? At
yeah.
17 years old, right?
Mhm.
And then he would go and match it. So then in a year, he showed me, look at how much you saved. And then he showed me how he did it. So I had this knowledge,
Mhm.
but when I went and lived on my own, I thought I knew better. And I got myself into credit trouble too. And it
Yeah.
wasn't only with a cell phone, it was with other things.
Other things.
And
Oh,
I
yeah.
knew better. I was educated, but I still thought I was smarter. And I got myself in credit trouble, but I had to go through the whole credit
Mhm,
counseling and all that other
mhm,
stuff and
mhm.
got myself out of that hole.
We've all
And
been there.
it was a lesson though. It
Yeah.
was a lesson, all
Mhm,
right.
mhm.
But credit is so important because again, you could stand there and say, well, you know what? My boyfriend, I co-signed on this
Oh,
car for
geez. Yes.
him, and now he's not paying, so they came after me. Do you think they care? Do you
They
think
don't.
the CMHC, which is the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation,
Mm-mm.
cares about your boyfriend
They
that
don't
you
care.
co-signed for? They do not.
Nope.
So it's super important. It is super important. And I
Mhm.
will say this to the young people: listen to your parents, listen to your elders,
Yeah.
listen to those that are very experienced in this, listen to those that actually had life experience
Mhm.
and can really tell you.
Mm.
Don't think that we're old and dumb. Any final words?
No, I'm just that's 100%. I agree with you. But all I'll say is it all starts with financial literacy, and we've got to do what we can to educate ourselves. There's so much you can Google now and online. There's so much information out there, but you always want to have somebody that can guide you as well and make sure you understand what you're doing. Different things out there that you can do to protect yourself, help yourself invest, all of these things. But it starts with financial literacy first and foremost.
Indeed, indeed. Buckhorse says, Buckhorse is saying that he's learning something from you, Dean. Let's see what Buckhorse is saying here. Just go back up a little bit here. Buckhorse said that he's learning something and he's saying, thank you, Mr. Dean.
You're welcome,
He
sir.
said, pay your bills on time. And
Mhm.
he said, 30%. Mr. Dean, I understand, sir. So
Yes.
that's great. Yeah. And Buckhorse says, thank you, Mr. Dean. It's a pleasure, sir. So,
Pleasure.
Mr. Dean, tell everybody where they can find you if they wanted to get some education.
Well, I'm a businessman, so you can find me at if you want to call for my numbers 416-816-6514. That's my business line. My email is D as in the letter D, Martin, Martin, 01HKKC at wfgmail.ca. So that's my professional email. You can always reach out to me. I'm on Instagram. Oh Lord, I'm not the big Instagram person
I
as
think
I
your
ought to
Instagram
be.
is Dean Martin, isn't it?
Yes, my Instagram is actually Dean DeanMartin 9483. That's my Instagram. So come on, follow me. I give great nuggets and stuff, advices and stuff. Come on and follow. So that's Dean Martin 9483. That's my Instagram. Okay.
Thank
And
you so much.
Facebook is the same. Just Dean Martin. All right, as well.
Thank you so much. This is one question. Wasn't credit proven to be a sham? Didn't the immigrants get auto to approve without credit score or business history? I just want to put that one out before we sign off. That'll be another segment because I will be bringing Dean back because there's so much to learn. There's so much more to learn.
Lots to
This
learn.
is just a small component of it. So Dean will be back. Our financial guru will be back, and we'll definitely be covering more segments at least once a month, if not more, because I do think it's important. I do think it's super important for our community to be equipped and educated, especially our young people.
Absolutely.
So, I can't thank you enough, Dean. Dean, like he said in the beginning, has this horrible flu. So we're going to let him go and rest up.
Yes.
I thank you for taking the time to put yourself
Thank
together
you.
and sit through this
Yes.
because I know how nasty that flu is.
was my
Buckford
pleasure.
says that he will find you.
Yeah.
So thank you so
No
much,
problem.
everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Until then, please be safe, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.